got it.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to MANIACITV, man. Today we got Ksoo, Yungeenace's shooter from the Hip Hop Daily YouTube channel, man. Shout out Hip Hop Daily. Y'all head on over and get my guys subscribed. He always coming with the quality docs, man. So listen, Ksoo, man, before Who I Smoke and When I See You and all this, I knew of Ksoo. I've done a few reactions to his, to his music. I did Been Dead, Steady Banging, and ATK War Song with him and Yungeenace. So I knew of Ksoo. But I was so blind to what was really going on down in Jacksonville. And it wasn't until, the disses with Yungeenace's ATK and Fulio's KTA that I never like knew they was active like that down in Jacksonville, man. I just thought, it was just a little, probably a little music beef. But once Queso got locked up and all this stuff started coming out about Jacksonville, I'm like, man, these boys really living like that down there, man. So listen, we ain't doing no more talking. We about to get into it right now, man. Let's get it.
As you may already know, there's currently a war going on in Jacksonville, Florida between rappers Yungeenace and Fulio. This violent beef has led to shootouts, murders, and some of the catchiest yet most disrespectful songs of all time. In this video, we'll talk about a rapper named Ksoo, who's Ace's right-hand man and alleged shooter. Stick around, because this is a wild story. Ksoo is a rapper from Jacksonville, Florida, who's affiliated with Yungeenace's ATK gang. The rapper is allegedly the main shooter behind some of the wildest crimes that have fueled this beef. He's currently awaiting trial for 2 murders of KTA affiliates, including one shooting he allegedly committed with the help of his own father. Before getting locked up, Ksoo is a respected savage in the streets of Jacksonville.
I'm gonna ask y'all feel like they gonna let Ksoo out? Y'all think he got a chance to get out, or do y'all feel like this is it?
The help of his own father. Before getting locked up, Ksoo is a respected savage in the streets of Jacksonville and known for being a rapper who frequently disses ops. One of his main targets was a 16-year-old victim named Bibby, who happened to be the younger brother of Fulio, a member of a rival gang, ATK. Ksoo's constant diss—
that was Fulio homeboy. But 2 murders though, man. They trying to get him for 2 murders. if he comes home from that, he might low-key be goated if he can come home from that. I ain't even gonna lie. Cause that's two bodies they putting on him.
A rapper who frequently disses ops. One of his main targets was a 16-year-old victim named Bibby, who happened to be the younger brother of Fulio, a member of a rival gang, ATK. Ksoo's constant dissing of Bibby helped fuel the beef between KTA and ATK, although tension goes even deeper than that. Ksoo would eventually become a prime suspect in Bibby's murder investigation, but was arrested for the broad daylight killing of another KTA-affiliated rapper named Lil Buck. Lil Buck's murder was allegedly retaliation for a song that the rapper made dissing Ksoo's brother, Boss Goon. Willie Addison, who rapped under the name Boss Goon, had just been released from prison in 2018 after doing 7 years for burglary. A few months after being released, he performed at the Paradise Gentlemen's Club in Jacksonville. After leaving the club, he got into a car with his father, brother, and 3 other relatives, which was hit up in a drive-by shooting. Everyone in the car was injured, but Boss Goon was the only one who was killed. Although the rapper had a criminal past, his family members told the media that he had changed his life after getting out of prison and was now focused on music. So the shooting is believed to be part of the ongoing war between KTA and ATK, and the shooters wanted to get at Ksoo by targeting his family members. Although Ksoo had always been a savage, his brother's murder would turn him cold-hearted and lead him to seek revenge on anyone involved. He ended up finding a target for his anger, rival rapper Charles McCormick, aka Lil Buck. Lil Buck was a rapper affiliated with Julio's KTA gang. The rapper released a diss track aimed at Boss Goon, and not long after he was killed. This led Ksoo to assume that Lil Buck had something to do with his brother's murder. So Ksoo began to plot his revenge and seek the help of his own father, as well as 2 other friends to carry out the hit.
Damn, these niggas, man, these niggas is some demons.
Ksoo began to plot his revenge and seek the help of his own father.
They killing niggas like it's a GTA online server or something, like you on a GTA mission. Like, yeah, I think he has something to do with it, and then they just, man, what?
Father, as well as 2 other friends to carry out the hit. The crew caught Lil Buck lacking outside an Arlington shopping plaza and shot him several times. Witnesses say they saw 2 men who fired off at least 6 shots and then got into a car and sped off. Police were quick to arrive to the scene and saw one of the shooters standing over Lil Buck. They got into a high-speed chase with the getaway vehicle, which ended up crashing in a residential neighborhood. Ksoo and his 2 accomplices then got out of the car and escaped on foot. They decided to split up to make it harder for the cops.
They lost 5 stars like that. No, these Florida niggas real life playing. This is GTA. Fuck role play. This is real life. This is GTA real life. So 12 pulled up. As they were standing over the body, they got in a high-speed chase, got off on foot, and got away?
Then got out of the car and escaped on foot. They decided to split up to make it harder for the cops. Queso went in one direction with the cop tailing him. The other two men ended up hiding in a nearby home, taking the woman who lived there hostage.
Wow.
They stole some of her husband's clothes and made a call to have someone come pick him up. The woman who was held hostage would later become a key witness in helping the police identify the two men who broke into her home. Their names were Dominique Barner and Leroy Whitaker, who were allegedly known associates of Ksoo. The woman was able to identify one of the men based on his tattoos and pointed him out in the police lineup. Barner was also arrested for the home invasion and would later admit to a confidential informant that Queso was the one who killed Lil Buck. Barner was not aware that the man was wearing a wire and bragged about the murder, admitting on tape that he was the driver and Queso was the shooter.
Damn, this is why you gotta be careful who you be talking to, man. You don't know what these niggas, you don't know if they got no motherfucking wire on. Don't be telling people that if you ain't, listen, fuck if you ain't like this, man. If you ain't going to drill with the nigga, if you wasn't in the car with the nigga when y'all did the drill, don't be talking to the nigga about the motherfucking drill. If he wasn't in the car with y'all, don't tell him about nothing that happened. Damn.
Was wearing a wire and bragged about the murder, admitting on tape that he was the driver and Queso was the shooter. Based on the information he provided, police were also able to recover the murder weapon, as well as an additional handgun and a white t-shirt that contained DNA belonging to Queso.
Wow.
The police were then able to use this as evidence, linking Queso to the scene, proving he was involved in the murder. If that wasn't enough evidence, the police also looked at Queso's own social media to see if they could find any evidence linking him to the crime, and they ended up finding tons of crazy stuff. They not only found photos of Queso posing with guns, but they also found a video of a kid singing the song Queso Homicide by Yungeenace right after Lil Buck was killed, and a video of Lil Buck rapping with the caption, "Bye bye." But probably the most damaging piece of content they found on this page was a video of Queso at the nail salon with the caption, "Kill a n***, then get my toes done." That was more than enough evidence for the cops to make an arrest, but to make things even worse for Ksoo,
I feel like low-key, I think Jacksonville police low-key scared of these niggas, man. Cause like, it take all of that just for y'all to even confront these niggas, man. I think they low-key scared. I said it before. I think they, cause what was the saying? They said J-So loves Ksoo. I think they scared of these niggas, man.
That was more than enough evidence for the cops to make an arrest, but to make things even worse for Ksoo, when Dominique Barner was interviewed about his involvement in the murder, he confirmed everything he said on the wire and admitted that Ksoo was the one who took out Lil Buck.
So they gonna have him testify against Queso? Is that what they gonna do in this trial? Even so, if dog get out, man, you can't go back. You can't.
Involvement in the murder.
You can't go back to your block after that. If you gonna testify, I don't know, man.
He confirmed everything he said on the wire and admitted that Ksoo was the one who took out Lil Buck. He even went as far as snitching on Ksoo's father, revealing that he was the one who picked him up after they ditched the getaway car and hid in that random woman's home.
Ain't no way, man. He really said all that?
That interview was enough for police to find Ksoo and arrest him immediately for murder, while his father was also arrested for accessory to murder after the fact.
Hakeem Robinson and his father, 49-year-old Abdul Robinson, are both in the Duval County Jail. Hakeem Robinson is charged with second-degree murder, and Abdul is charged with accessory after the fact.
It seemed like Ksoo couldn't catch a break, and if his homie snitching wasn't bad enough, there was even video footage from the scene that showed everything go down.
Damn.
Dashcam footage from a nearby vehicle captured a shooting, and surveillance footage from a home in the area showed Whitaker and Barner running through the neighborhood, jumping fences as they try to get away. Ksoo and his 3 accomplices are currently fighting this case and face life in prison if convicted. Even though Ksoo seemed like he might get away, it was a pretty sloppy hit that left plenty of evidence for police to track.
I'm saying.
Plus, all the bragging on social media probably didn't help, and I'll have a hard time explaining why he was so happy about Lil Buck's murder if he had nothing to do with it. But
I'm saying, dog, social media is the ultimate downfall for so many people, man. It's like people, because you got to post. For some reason, you got to post every single thing you do. You got to post all your moves. And people be laughing at me, man. Y'all be laughing when I say that these police departments got a whole team specializing in watching these rappers' Instagrams and Twitters. They hire people. They hire people just for that purpose, to sit there all day doing this. Just doing this on their phone all day. Like, what can you find? Can you find anything? Detective, can you find anything? They do that for 8 hours. Y'all be laughing, but I'm dead ass. They do that.
Help, and I'll have a hard time explaining why he was so happy about Lil Buck's murder if he had nothing to do with it. But if things weren't looking bad enough for Ksoo, while behind bars, he would also be charged with the 2019 murder of Adrian Gaynor, aka Bibby Osama, Julio Fulio's younger brother. Lil Buck's murder wasn't the first time that Ksoo was featured on the Jacksonville news.
Bibby wasn't Fulio's brother, was he? I thought that was just his homeboy.
Fulio's younger brother. Lil Buck's murder wasn't the first time that Ksoo was featured on the Jacksonville news. The rapper was the subject of a controversy the year before after he used pictures of real murder victims in the album art for a project he released called Bibby Out.
Controversial rap album
wildin'.
cover is making its way around social media. The cover shows pictures of men who have been murdered in Jacksonville. Local rapper Queso posted the picture to Instagram.
Bibby, who's one of the victims shown in the artwork, was a 16-year-old who was tragically gunned down outside the apartment complex where he lived back in February of 2019. Bibby was Fulio's younger brother, and his death has been used both by Ksoo and Yungeenace as a way to taunt their op. Bibby's name became famous after he was included in the viral song Who I Smoke, where Yungeenace calls out the names of dead KTA members after a chorus of Who I Smoke. Ksoo has also rapped about Bibby on tracks like Ksoo with bars that are just as
Nigga carried around a jersey, a Bibby jersey.
disrespectful. Plus, Ksoo has also been known to make fun of Bibby on social media, taking it as far as mocking his mother for going after her son's killer.
Hey, they got his mom walking around, March! 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 We're gonna get him, March!
So it wasn't much of a shock when it was revealed that Ksoo was a suspected killer, although the details of the case are pretty surprising. Bibby was shot and killed outside the
I want
hilltop.
to see what the outcome of this is gonna be. Like, I low-key feel like they moving kind of slow on the case and the trial and all that. I want to see like what the witnesses. I want to see all that. I want to see how this is gonna play out.
Village Apartments on West 45th Street in Jacksonville. He was sitting in a gazebo on the grounds of the apartment complex, looking at something on his phone with a friend who was sitting nearby. While they were both looking down, the killer walked up and started shooting at them with an AR-style rifle. Bibby and his friend split up and ran in different directions. The friend was able to escape, but Bibby was hunted by the killer and shot several times until he was dead. Even though Ksoo was a suspect because of his frequent disses of Bibby in music and on social media, the police didn't have much solid evidence to charge him for the murder. But the case was broken wide open after a confidential witness told police that he was in the car with Ksoo on the day Bibby was killed. The witness told police that Ksoo called him on the day of the murder and they went to scope out a few drug spots.
Okay, so this got everybody telling on him.
The witness told police that Queso called him on the day of the murder and they went to scope out a few drug spots. Along with them was Leroy Whitaker, one of the accomplices from the Lil Buck murder, as well as another man who went by the name Rollo. After taking care of business, they drove by the Hilltop Apartments where they spotted Bibby and his friend. They then drove into the parking lot of the complex and waited about 20 minutes. Then, Queso and Leroy both got out of the car with weapons, while Rollo drove the witness to another parking lot close to the gazebo. The witness claimed that Queso went after Bibby, while Leroy chased after the friend. Bibby ended up falling to the ground only about 5 to 10 yards from the car. Queso then allegedly shot him in the back of the head while he was shielding himself with his hands. Although the identity of the witness in this case has been kept confidential, there's been speculation that it may be one of the accomplices from the Lil Buck murder. Barner had already spilled the beans to a confidential informant, then eventually confirmed to police that everything he said was true. So if he's already down as a snitch, it makes sense that he would go all the way and tell the police everything that he knows to get a lighter sentence. He's currently being held at the Duval County Jail, one of the toughest prisons in Florida. Since he's potentially looking at doing life in prison for the murder of Lil Buck, he'd probably rather take his chances on the street over spending the rest of his life in prison, especially after snitching. In addition to the Lil Buck homicide, Barner is also facing charges for a separate murder of an innocent bystander who was killed in a shootout between two vehicles.
Yeah, he gonna have to tell it all, cause he looking at too much. He looking at too much, man.
50-year-old Damon Rothermel was riding his bike down Emerson Street in Jacksonville when two vehicles entered the area with passengers inside firing at each other. Damon tried to dive off his bike to avoid getting hit, but was tragically caught in the crossfire and ended up losing his life.
Wow.
Police believe that Dominique Barner was involved in the shootout and is being charged with an additional count of second-degree murder because of this. So things aren't looking good for Barner, and it seems like he's willing to do anything to protect himself. Whoever it was that spoke to police was someone close to Ksoo. It had to be someone he was comfortable catching the body in front of, then going about his daily life as if nothing happened. So either Barner was the informant in both cases, or Ksoo has a serious problem with who he lets in his inner circle. Ksoo was originally held on a $1 million bail. That was raised to $3 million after he got hit with the additional murder charge. Although things are looking pretty questionable for the rapper, police are relying on witness testimonies to tie him to the Bibby murder. With a good team of lawyers, they may be able to poke holes in the witness's credibility. If Barner is the witness, Ksoo's lawyers could argue that he's just trying to give the police anything he can to avoid jail time, and therefore, his story could be biased or even made up. But all the dissing and self-snitching that Ksoo did online and his music isn't going to help his case.
I'm saying.
He might have a hard time explaining why he took credit for Bibby's murder over and over again if he had nothing to do with it. But the Lil Buck murder may be harder to beat because police have DNA evidence, surveillance footage, and a clear motive for the killing.
Yeah.
So it's likely that they're just trying to stack as many charges against him as they can, so he has little chance of getting out anytime soon. The war between ATK and KTA set off a crazy wave of violence in Jacksonville, and Ksoo is a major part of that beef. The popularity and national attention that the music has received has only led to more and more extreme acts of violence, and diss tracks are no longer just being played in the streets of Jacksonville, they're being broadcast to fans across the country. So the police are looking to take down anyone associated with the beef, and Queso is one of the biggest names involved, both in terms of the music as well as his reputation as a shooter. Queso is yet to go to trial for either charge, so more updates will likely come as the case continues. Yungeenace and the rest of KTA will have to go on without their top shooter, but if the Who I Smoke song is any indication, the group won't be backing down from the beef anytime soon. If you thought this video was crazy, be sure to check out our channel for more.
Every time I react to a Jacksonville doc or about anybody in Jacksonville, man, this shit just gives me goosebumps, man. Like, these niggas is down there, they crazy, they wildin', man. Like, Queso, man, Queso, Yungeenace's shooter. Link down below in the description. Y'all want to check out this in its entirety, man. Like I said, give my guy Hip Hop Daily a subscribe, man. He always coming with the quality docs, the quality content, always, man. What else, man? Y'all new to the channel, y'all rock with me, want daily reaction videos, man. Hit that subscribe button for me. Until the next video, I'll see y'all then. Thank you for watching MANIACITV. I'm out.
I ain't gotta do too much. I swear that these niggas, they be doing too much. I ain't gotta